Hey guys, it's Jay Green, investor, private lender, and broker located here in Whittier, California. Welcome back to my channel. This is where I discuss and cover topics of real estate investment strategies, private lending education, and real estate sales and marketing insights. In this video, I would like to cover how to sell your California real estate for top selling price. As you know, right now the real estate market is incredibly hot, primarily driven by low interest rates, very low inventory in California, and the demand from buyers who see the benefit of owning a home rather than paying rent. This video is really tailored for realtors, property owners, and investors, and I'm going to provide some insights and some ideas on how I sell my properties for top selling price and some of the recommendations I would give to you so you can sell your properties and your clients' properties for top selling price. It's October 2021. We're in the fourth quarter of the year. The demand is still very high. If you put a property on the market, it's going to get a lot of offers if you price that property correctly. So I wanted to talk to you about some of the things you can do pre-sale before you put your property on the market. What are some of the things you should do as far as property improvements, interviewing realtors, negotiating commissions, and preparing to put your property on the market before you start marketing the property and put it on the market for sale. There's a few repairs, upgrades, and improvements I'd like to cover. I want to talk to you about some of the things that I recommend that are going to give you the best return on investment, allowing you to recover that dollar you put into the property, plus additional monies on top of that, and ensuring that your property sells at a very high price, putting more money in your pocket. That's the goal really of this video, and my recommendations is for you realtors to put more money in your seller's pocket, or if you're a real estate investor, putting more money in your pocket, or if you're a property owner, maximizing your net seller's proceeds when you close escrow. So let's talk about some of the improvements that I think are very important that you should consider before you put your property on the market. So let's talk about the obvious: cleaning your property, decluttering, depersonalizing your property, maybe taking some pictures down, things that are really important to you. I know they mean a lot to you, but to a buyer and a realtor that it's coming in, that's not so important to them. And so decluttering, cleaning, getting your property ready to just make it an inviting environment is your goal in doing this, a clean, inviting home, a property for buyers to come into. So some of the cheapest things you can do is cleaning, decluttering, and then also painting. Painting the outside, painting the inside is one of the least expensive repairs or improvements you can do to a property to really make it show better, smell clean, and present in its optimal condition. Make your home as light as possible. Taking off some drapery or old window coverings, old window treatments, or installing some can lights. Light really makes a property look open, it's inviting, and it's going to make your property show in its best by creating a lot of light in your property. So that doesn't cost a lot of money. Another thing is, once you've done the improvements, is to keep your property clean. Have it professionally cleaned, and keep your property cleaned at all times so it looks good, it smells good, it's inviting to buyers. That doesn't cost a lot of money. So let's start on the outside of improvements I recommend. Again, if you want to paint the outside, if your paint looks really bad, doing an external paint job can really enhance the curb appeal and making that first powerful impression on a buyer pulling up to your property. You can replace the garage door. A garage door really can do so much for just the appearance and the elevation, how the property looks from the front. So a new garage door, you can put one in for about $1,500 to $3,000, $3,500 with even an electric garage door opener. And that can do a lot for the physical appearance of your property. Also, working on your landscaping. decluttering some of the plants, taking old plants out, any large trees that are overgrown, that are hiding your property, maybe have them trimmed or cut down. And then making sure your grass, if you have grass out in front, make sure your grass is watered and green. If it's really dead, maybe consider putting in some sprinklers or putting a topper, some seed, or putting in sod and giving that great curb appeal to the front. Another thing you want to do is consider your roof. A roof is going to look good or bad, and it also is going to be a concern for a buyer. If your roof's in not bad shape and it looks pretty good, I would probably leave it and not replace it. You can hire a roofer to have it inspected and maybe repaired if it needs to be repaired. Also, by painting the eaves and parts of the house can also make the roof look better. So if your roof isn't bad, in this market I wouldn't replace it. If your roof is really bad, two things are going to happen. First of all, get a price and consider replacing the roof, or at least be mindful that when you do get a buyer and get into escrow, there's a good chance they're going to ask for a roofing credit or to have it replaced. So that is going to become an issue when you do get into escrow. So it's a good time to start looking at your roof and decide if that needs to be addressed. Another thing you want to look at is your electrical system. If everything in the house is working relatively good and you don't have issues with the electrical system, you don't need to mess with it. If there are things that are not working in your electrical system, you may want to hire a handyman or an electrician to fix those things. The next thing would be plumbing. If you have major plumbing issues or leaks, you want to address those right now. Hire a handyman or a plumber to fix those items right now. Make sure that's working well, because buyers are going to do a home inspection and they're going to be going through these systems. Your heating and air conditioning system, if you have that. They're going to look at your roof. They're going to look at your electrical system, your plumbing. They're going to request that some of those things be repaired, or at least be concerned with those items if they don't ask for credit. And those are going to become issues when you do get into escrow. So one of the main things in a house that can really make a big difference is the kitchen. So when I go into a house that I'm considering buying or giving advice to a realtor and their sellers, a lot of people spend a lot of time in the kitchen. It's the heart and soul of a house. And so I would definitely give it some consideration. There's a couple ways to address. If your kitchen looks relatively good, maybe just cleaning it will be fine. We're in a hot market and houses are selling really well right now. I usually remodel the kitchens. I fix and flip property, so I'm also giving you advice based on my experience as a flipper and an investor and a broker, not just telling you these things because they're on a top list of repairs to make. A couple things you can do to a kitchen. You can do a light refacing, painting the cabinets, putting on new quartz tops or granite or whatever material you want to use. You can put new doors, new poles, and that can do a lot for a kitchen. I find a lot of situations with kitchens that I just pull out the old cabinetry, I put in new cabinets, new tops, I can reconfigure it, maybe put in some new appliances like a dishwasher or an oven range, a microwave. Buyers are going to think that a kitchen's going to cost a lot of money, and if you can do it inexpensively, most kitchens are probably going to cost you between $15,000 and $25,000. I've done them cheaper, but it's a great investment. What you spend in a kitchen, you're definitely going to get that back when you go to sell your property. So after the kitchen, we would be looking at flooring. So look at your floors. If you have old carpeting, you may want to pull it out and put in some wood, laminate, or other types of material. If you have wood floors, consider cleaning them or having them refinished. But pulling out old carpet that might have pet stains and be stained and ugly and smell, I would consider taking it out and putting in some flooring that's reasonably priced. There's a lot of great laminate engineered wood flooring that looks great, that's waterproof, that just takes your house to the next level of its condition and its appearance and attractiveness to a buyer. 86% of buyers are getting a loan and not using cash. So most buyers would prefer a property being in very, very good condition, that all the repairs are done. So buyers will pay more for a property that's already repaired, and they'll finance that. So when you make these repairs and you make your house really, really nice, buyers are going to be paying top price for your property, and they're going to finance those improvements. So when you spend that money, you're going to get that money back plus make a little bit more, because a buyer's going to be financing that improvement into their purchase. And it's not something they're going to have to do later and have additional monies for. They're going to be financing it right now when they buy it. So keep that in mind. Another thing is you can go through the closets and start emptying them out, maybe decluttering your closets, putting some of the things away. Empty closets, buyers like storage space and voluminous closets. And if you can make them look less packed, that's also a great inexpensive way to make your closets look a little bit larger psychologically to the buyer, that this house has enough closet space for them and their clothes. Also should consider having a heating and air conditioning person come out and take a look at your system and see if it needs to be tuned up or replaced. Buyers are going to care, they're going to have it inspected when they do a home inspection. If it's working great, wonderful, or you may just want to have it serviced and tuned up. If you don't have central heating and air conditioning, depending on what time of the year it is, buyers will care about that. And you can put a good system in between like $7,000 and $15,000. Not inexpensive, but a great improvement and upgrade to your properties. In my flips, I normally always put central heating and air conditioning in, or at least make sure that it has ducting for that. Sometimes you can get away with a mini split system, which is the smaller units you see on the wall that has an external unit, and you can do those between like $2,500 and $5,000. They're very inexpensive, but you want to talk to an HVAC person to find out if making sure that unit will heat and cool the size of your property, because you may have to have more than one. I've done smaller houses like 800 square feet, 1,000 square feet, and sometimes a mini split system will work and heat and cool smaller types properties, but you get this great system at a much lower price. Another thing is you need to make sure your foundation doesn't have any problems. Light repairs on a foundation, like if it's on a raised foundation, in piers and posts, are not in the best of shape. A home inspection is going to call that out and you can have it repaired. But if you walk around your house and you see like major cracks, or you're feeling like it's sloping big time, I would find a good foundation person. You can fix a lot of these things at not huge prices. Obviously it's a big foundation issue. It might cost some money, but to go around, I fixed a lot of foundations where I can do for a couple $1,000s. I've done like retaining walls at great prices. So you want to take any doubt out of a buyer's mind, and that they're going to see obviously. So you're walking around your property and you see cracks in the foundation. I would have that addressed, or have the stucco in the foundation fixed right now. And it'll just to avoid any concerns and questions from buyers and their agents and home inspectors in the future. Bathrooms after kitchens are also a very important area of your home that buyers are going to care about. So if it's not bad and you can clean them and clean the grout and paint the bathroom, maybe replace some lights, that's going to be a great way to freshen up and make your bathrooms really pop. Now, I can remodel bathrooms. They're not super expensive. I can do a bathroom between like $5,000 and $10,000. New tub, tile, new faucets, fixtures, a new vanity, new medicine cabinet, lighting, switches, paint, fan, maybe even a door. So the investment you're going to have on that bathroom, you're definitely going to get that money back and then some. So definitely want to consider the bathrooms. And these are conversations you have with your realtor and a consultant like myself or a designer, and make some decisions on should you fix them up or should you not. Again, we're in a really hot market, so some of these things you may not necessarily need to do, but if you do them, you're going to get your money back plus make a little bit more. So don't have like a lot of doubt in your mind that if you spend a huge amount of money on a particular item that I'm recommending, you're going to get that money back, plus you're going to be guaranteeing that you sell this property at top selling price. Another thing I recommend is going through and replacing all the doorknobs and pulls and handles and have them like one universal color. Even painting the front door, if your door is in relatively good shape, just painting it a nice bright color is going to pop. If you have a security gate on there, maybe take the security gate off, put it in the garage. So you're creating this inviting, attractive property that's going to really heighten the interest of a buyer to want your property. So on the inside, again, replacing doorknobs, pulls, handles, knobs throughout the bathrooms, the hallway, bedroom doors, front door, kitchens, laundry pulls, laundry rooms. Try to make those uniform in color, and that's not an expensive upgrade. I recommend is considering to replace your windows. If they're in good shape and they don't look bad, you can kind of get away without doing the windows. But if they're these your old windows, they don't open a lot, you can put new like vinyl or energy efficient windows through your house that don't cost a lot of money. I can do windows between like $6,000 and $12,000 depending on the size of the house, probably averaging more like $7,000, $8,000. So it's an amazing upgrade that you can do to your property where you're going to get that. It's going to look great. First of all, like a garage door and a front door. It looks amazing from the outside. On the inside it looks good, and when people go to open the windows, they slide nicely. It's a psychological, it's a visual thing that it's pleasing and satisfying, and buyers really like, and that's an investment you're going to get back. Another thing is to deal with your dog and cat. You know, you are used to them, the smells or odors. You want to try to address that. Deodorize, get the smell out of your house, any hair, keep the property clean. Clean the carpets or replace them. Make the house appealing from the smelling standpoint. Alright, so I talked about some of the improvements, upgrades, and repairs you should consider. Let's talk about pricing. Pricing is important. There's a lot of psychology to pricing a home. My approach to pricing, I look at comparable sales in the market, what have recently sold, what properties are pending. Those are properties that are in escrow with a new buyer that are heading toward hopefully a closing and becoming a comparable closed sale. I look at those. I look at some actives. What are other people asking for their properties? What are other buyers going to be considering in your neighborhood and market when they're looking at your home? Now, my attitude is, I mean, we're in a really hot market, so a lot of properties are getting bid up over list price. You've seen some price reductions in certain areas, and I think that's because agents and property sellers have just been really aggressive, and they've just asked for prices that are very high and unreasonable. So I recommend looking at the comps, going through a comparative market analysis with your realtor, and really understanding what's sold. Looking at properties of similar square footage, similar bedroom count, condition, location, and being honest. If you're a seller and a realtor, be honest about your property and what makes it better, why it's not better. And when you're going to price it, look at the highest selling closed comps, and I would consider maybe pricing a little bit under, and you can price significantly under, or you could price it a little bit under. Like if a house sold at $750, you know, going at into the $739, $740s, $749, or even pricing much lower at $729 or $699, you want to consider this knowing you're going to be attracting a lot of buyers. Comps are at like $749 and you want to price at $729. You're going to be attracting a lot of buyers that are going to see this as a great buy, and you're going to be able to push them up over normally those higher selling prices. So by pricing it well, you're going to be sending a message to realtors and buyers that you're serious about selling your property. The condition of your property is going to be very appealing, so they know they're getting a great price. And then you're going to, with a good realtor, you're going to be able to counter these offers, multiple counters, driving the prices up to where you really want to be. So there's a lot of psychology and strategy to pricing your property, and that's when you pick a great realtor, he or she is going to have their pulse on the market and be able to add some insight into pricing your house so you can sell it for the highest price. Here's another way to save money. Right now, there's a low amount of inventory in California, and there's a lot of realtors competing for your business. I would interview several realtors and find out about their experience level, but also negotiate the listing side of the commission. You can get a great buy right now, and you don't need to overpay for a listing commission. In a real estate transaction, there's two parts to the commission. One commission goes to the listing agent. The listing agent is the realtor you hire to represent you, to act on your behalf as your agent, to try to get you the highest price for your property. They're the ones that put the sign out in front, they take the pictures, they negotiate with buyers and their realtors. So on this side of the equation, you have the selling side or the buyer side commission. Normally 5 and 6% total. So it could be 2.5, 2.5, 3 and 3, 2 and 2. These are all negotiable and arbitrary. Now there's a little psychology to that as well. In this marketplace, buyer agents are receiving anywhere from about 2 to 3%. Depends on your market and how. I would say you should be able to pay 2, 2.25, 2.5 out to a buyer side agent. On the listing side, most agents are going to want 2 to 3%, and you can get this much cheaper, even from a very professional, experienced agent that's going to provide you great service, and you can get this down significantly below 2.5, 2, 1.75, 1.5. Sometimes lower. So interview some agents, find out how they can save you money on commissions, but also putting more money in your pocket. Picking your realtor to sell your property is very important, but it's also having a great realtor who's going to be able to negotiate during critical times when your property is in escrow and you get this buyer. You're picking the right buyer based on the type of loan they're getting. Are they paying cash? Are they putting down a large down payment? Are they getting a FHA loan, a conventional loan? And you're finding out what kind of reserves they have. So being able to pick the right buyer has a lot to do. It's not always the highest price, but also what's important is, does the buyer have additional monies? If they're getting a loan, there's going to be an appraisal done on your property. And is that property going to appraise for what you're selling it to them? What happens if the appraisal comes in lower than what you're selling the property to them? Do they have the money to make up the difference? Are they in that type of position? Are they even going to waive the appraisal contingency? Those are things a good realtor can help you with ahead of time to avoid losing a buyer or having to cancel or having a buyer ask for a price reduction. I would recommend interviewing several agents to find out about their experience, what they recommend you price the house out, what they charge for real estate commissions. This video is geared toward giving you, realtors, property owners, real estate investors, ideas on how to put the most amount of money in your pocket when it sells. That's really the goal of this video. If you like my video, please hit the like button and also subscribe to my channel so I can continue to create great, helpful, informative, valuable videos just like this. One other way that I can help you, realtors, property owners, investors, I can help you sell your property for top selling prices through providing capital. I have a program called Repair to Sell where I'll put up the money to make these improvements I've recommended, and you don't need to make any payments, and you can repay me when your property sells, but I don't take any of your profit or your net proceeds. What I recommend is let's get together, let's meet at the property, let's talk about what repairs need to be done, and then let's get bids from contractors and handymen or specialists that are going to give us bids. Like if you're going to do the kitchen, let's get like 2 or 3 bids on that. So you want to get great prices, fair prices on labor, materials, and improvements. And then once we know what we want to do and what they're going to cost, then you'll know how much money you need to borrow from me, and then I'll give you a proposal on what that's going to cost you. So if you're interested in that, give me a ring, 714-747-1912, and we'll meet at the property. It's free, but a great exercise. I also buy properties cash, so if you want a cash offer on your property and you just want to sell it as is, you don't want to put it on the MLS, and you want to close in days or weeks, you don't want to put on the MLS, you don't want to have to worry about buyers going through, selling it, you can sell it as is, and in its as is condition, you don't need to make any repairs. Keep me in mind for that as well, because I do buy properties. I am a real estate investor. I hope you found this video helpful. If you do, please hit the like button. And again, subscribe to my channel so I can continue to create great, helpful, informative videos just like this. I wish you luck in selling your property, whether you're a realtor or an investor or a property owner. And if you have any questions, again, give me a ring, and my advice is always free and always coming from the heart and really genuine. I want you to succeed, and my goal is for you to put the most amount of money in your pocket when it sells. Thanks for watching.